To Toronto. That was their 6th loss in 7 games. If they lose tonight, they will fall to the 7th seed, which does not guarantee them a spot in the playoffs. Remember, they have the play-in tournament this year, 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. And LeBron James was talking about that yesterday and said this.
If this happens to we end up at 6th or 5th or whatever the case may be, or if we end up in the playoff, whatever that thing is, whoever came up with that need to be fired. But whatever.
Interesting. Look who's up with us here, the big fella, Kendrick Perkins. Big Perk, what do you make of LeBron saying whoever came up with this play-in tournament should be fired?
Well, Granny, you know how I feel about LeBron James, right? I feel like he's the greatest of all time, but I disagree with him. I'm listening to him, Luke, and Mark Cuban. They're complaining about the play-in tournaments. The only guys that are complaining is the guys that possibly could play in the play-in tournament. And if they keep up all the crime, what the babies in the world gonna do? But at the end of the day, I feel like I love the play-in tournament for the simple fact that we all know in the history of the NBA, towards the end of the season, it tend to get boring. Teams start not to play hard. But now this is the playoffs before the playoffs. It holds guys accountable. I love the play-in tournament because it keeps guys on their toes. It makes guys take the regular season serious and not take it for granted. And by the way, what LeBron James should have said was that, man, before I got injured, we was a 1 or 2 seed, and now I come back, and now we're fighting for a playoff position because my teammates couldn't hold it down. Or maybe looking at Rob Pelinka and saying, man, why didn't you trade for Kyle Lowry, a guy that came in and gave us a 37-piece wing dinner, spicy, and handed out 11 biscuits last night? That's what he should have been complaining about, not the play-in tournament. I actually love the idea of the play-in tournament. I'm glad they had it.
You are 100% hilarious and 100% right. Kendrick Perkins, thank you for getting up this morning, and we'll check the action of yesterday. We showed you the Nets and the Bucks in a thriller earlier. How about the Spurs and Sixers battled all the way to overtime? Tied with 6 seconds left in the OT. Joel Embiid misses, but Ben Simmons has just enough time for the tip-in. Just like that, the Sixers win it 113-111. Meanwhile, in Boston last night, the Celtics lost their 2 All-Stars on 1 play. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum awkwardly colliding with about 40 seconds left in the game. They both limped off the floor. Brown appeared to get the worst of it. We'll get further reports today. Celtics would lose to Portland by 10. Meanwhile, speaking of losing, the Lakers lost again. They've dropped 6 out of 7. This one to Toronto. If they lose tonight, they fall to the 7 seed, which means they're not guaranteed a spot in the playoff bracket. Remember about the play-in tournament? Well, LeBron James was talking about it yesterday, and here's what he said.
If this happens to we end up at 6th or 5th or whatever the case may be, or if we end up in the playoff, whatever that thing is, whoever came up with that need to be fired. But whatever.
Dominique, LeBron suddenly seems very perturbed by the play-in tournament. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be on the wrong side of LeBron James, but I think the play-in tournament actually is accomplishing what it's supposed to accomplish. It's made the late games, or some of the games late in the season, more interesting. It adds some high-tension moments in the early rounds of the playoffs that we don't get. So I personally like it. I don't understand where LeBron is coming from, but I like it until we end up with a situation that maybe LeBron James is out of the playoffs after 1 or 2 games. So I agree with that, but the problem isn't that we have the play-in tournament. The problem is that LeBron and AD have been hurt all season, so they are near the play-in tournament. A team like this should be in the top and not concerned about this, and it should be a game that allows us to be more interested in some teams that we wouldn't normally be interested in this moment. So I'd be more upset with his health than I'd be with the play-in tournament.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's interesting that the 2 people we've heard speak out about this, Mark Cuban in Dallas and now LeBron with the Lakers, they didn't seem upset about this until it became likely that their teams were going to be involved. It's been the rule all year. Meanwhile, tonight we have a very special NBA presentation on ESPN2. It is the first ever Marvel-inspired presentation.
Hey, LeBron, we saw that you left around your usual time in the 4th, didn't come back with the sore right ankle. Just wondered how it felt throughout the game and how it feels now.
The first half it feels really good. Obviously warming up for the game. Everything is going well. In the last 2 games at halftime, after the break, it's kind of got a little sore on me, a little tight, and obviously coach decided not to, put me back in towards the end because of that. So, that's pretty much it.
Are you going to wake up and see how it feels tomorrow, LeBron? Do you have a plan yet about tomorrow night's game?
Well, yeah, that's the plan. The plan is to see how I feel and go from there. But definitely want to get healthy. Not only myself, but for our team. It's just challenging for us right now, but we'll be fine.
Sorry, can I interrupt, please? Are you guys seeing LeBron, or is he frozen on your screen?
He's just now frozen.
Frozen.
Excuse me.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, that's all that matters. Let's keep it going.
All right. Mike, are you done, or?
I was going to ask one more if I could. LeBron, just wanted your evaluation of this game on top of the losing that's coming into this, and you getting reintegrated, all that's going on basically. Like, how are you guys analyzing this as you get down to the stretch run here?
I think our team is predicated on health. That is the number one thing for our ball club. We're a team that we need to be healthy and we need to be full. If it's not one thing, it's the other. And then we show up today and our starting point guard is not in the lineup, so it's like another blow for us. That's going to be the biggest thing for us down the stretch, more than the games that we're playing, on just how healthy we're going to be, going into the stretch run.
Dave?
LeBron, in regards to your health, I know you described how it got tighter in the second half. What's your level of concern or your plan to try to get healthy while you're playing these games?
Well, my level of concern, I really don't have too much level of concern, but my thing is I need to be healthy. And I need to make sure that my ankle, is in the where it was before, obviously before the injury. So, obviously I got to be smart with it. I'll talk to, my trainer Mike and go over with the coaching staff and, talk over some of the players as well. But the most important thing for me is to be healthy, and to be at full strength, when it really matters. I mean, it matters now to me, because I hate sitting out games and I hate not being out on the floor. But, I'm also not, helping myself or, helping my team being out there and I'm not at full strength.
Dan?
Hey, LeBron. You just kind of said it. How do you balance sort of the knowledge that, yes, like you need to be 100% come playoff time or as close to, as healthy as possible, but at the same time, the play-in tournament is a real possibility kind of based on the standings. How do you kind of view the prospect of that, and does that change your mindset at all?
Well, it doesn't matter at the end of the day if I'm not, 100% close to 100%. It don't matter, where we land, So, that's my mindset. And, if this happens to, we end up at 6th or 5th or whatever the case may be, or if we end up in the, the playoff, whatever that need to be fired. But whatever.
Kyle?
Hey, LeBron. We were talking to Kuz and about the last 7 games, and the word he used was disconnected. Says it doesn't feel like the team is quite as connected. Obviously, health plays a role in that, but I'm wondering if you sense that as well, and if so, are there factors besides health that you guys can control better than you guys have in the last 7 games?
Well, yes, I would agree with Kuz for sure. Having guys in and out of the lineup, having guys not healthy, being in the lineup or not being in the lineup. But at the end of the day, we have, 5 guys on the floor, and we need to play Laker basketball. And we haven't done that in the last 7 games, no matter who's been out on the floor. So, it starts with, with us, and we get the game plan. We need to go out and execute it. But, definitely a challenging few weeks for us, and something that we will ultimately, I think we'll figure it out.
Last 3 questions. BT?
LeBron, when you consider that you left without the ankle injury today, this is not here, you've had this long season. How overwhelming has this season been for this entire team?
I don't know. I mean, it's been challenging for the whole league, not just us. And obviously, the biggest point for us is that our two, main guns were hurt significantly and out for a long time. With AD being out for almost 9 weeks and, me being out for 6 weeks with our injuries. And, and both of us pretty much almost at the same time at one point in the season. So, that hurt our team and our ball club a lot. But the season is the season. We knew it was going to be challenging. Everybody knew it was going to be challenging when they agreed to start the season up December 1 after coming off the bubble league, the bubble season. So it's been a challenge for everyone, not just us.
Dale?
Hey, Lebron, is what you're feeling these last couple of nights something that you're feeling during your rehab and kind of your ramp up to play, or is this a situation where you need to play the games to feel it and find out whether there would be pain? And then I guess the next question would be, knowing what you know now, do you think maybe you came back early? Too early?
You never know until you get out there, because honestly, some of the sharp pain that I'm feeling or the pain that I feel on the floor is I didn't have during my workouts. Or during my training, during my running and things of that nature. So, the only way to test it is to get out on the floor. And for one, there ain't no damn practice time. It's not like it's you get practice time, you get 5-on-5, you get live. This is not the season for it. We've known that since